in The Sun, we have the words of the royal author Angela Levin at the photo of the Princess of Wales, who says, William has taken a beautiful photograph of all his children and his wife roaring with laughter. She must have taught him, as she is a very good photographer. I was extremely excited when I saw a photograph of the Princess of Wales looking absolutely radiant. It's been a hard few weeks. I missed knowing what she was doing and how she was feeling. The photo has since been the subject of a kill notice. Jenny Bond is a royal commentator. Jenny, thanks for coming on the programme. Extraordinary story, this. Talk us through what would be involved in these photo agencies issuing this kind of notice. Morning.
Good morning, yes. Well, they have a policy whereby with news photographs, not necessarily entertainment photographs, but with news photographs, they must be seen to be absolutely genuine, not to be manipulated. That's as I understand it. I'm not an expert in photo agency protocol, but that's what I've been hearing this morning. So on a couple of levels, or at least one particular level, this photograph seems to have failed. And that particular level is the misalignment of Princess Charlotte's arm with her sleeve. I mean, people Photoshop, amateurs, everybody Photoshops, don't they? And it can be done, I think, quite easily. But for a photograph issued by Kensington Palace to have been changed in any way, I really don't understand it. It is confusing. It is annoying because, like Angela, you were quoting in The Sun, I too felt, well, a measure of relief, really, yesterday that, thank goodness, all this ridiculous, absurd conspiracy that's going on online can be put to bed once and for all. And I'm afraid this has now backfired.
And it goes to the question of trust, doesn't it? Is what we're seeing real? And I guess is the difference between someone posting a picture that they want to make themselves look really nice on Instagram and something that is newsworthy, which this certainly is.
It is. It is possible that cameras these days, I know that cameras these days can take multiple pictures and almost internally edit the pictures and do a composite of the best of those. Yeah. Well, again, since I've read some scientific stuff this morning, this is
we're all becoming experts pretty quickly on photography.
This is a professor at a university in California who is on record as saying that is possible and that's one conceivable explanation. I've no idea of the explanation. I don't get it. I think it's cock-up rather than conspiracy. I don't think the palace are trying to manipulate the news management, and I think that Catherine is doing well. And the photo was issued not to stop the speculation, but because it was Mother's Day. Coincidentally, obviously they hoped it would stop all the speculation, but every year they issue a photo on Mother's Day like this. But it has gone horribly wrong, and it's probably going to overshadow a very important event today, the Commonwealth Day service. And it's all extremely unfortunate.
There are lots of questions about why the Princess of Wales might not have been wearing her engagement rings. But this, yes, as I understand it, Jenny, is relatively common for Kate to do when she's on various visits at things like hospitals or sports events, but maybe not with the children.
Well, certainly the engagement ring, which is worth a ton of money, that was the previous Princess of Wales. She doesn't always wear that. The wedding ring, I think she does mostly wear. But then I'm not a fashion person, but there is a fashion where you wear minimal or no jewellery is a sort of cool look, and maybe that's what it was. I have no explanation. Or as I said yesterday, maybe she'd just done the washing up and put them on the sink and forgotten them, but that's probably rather less likely. We don't know. But I think we really, as serious journalists, must beware going down these rabbit holes online of completely unsubstantiated, unpleasant and cruel rumours, nonsense, written by people who know absolutely nothing, who have no sources whatsoever. We must, as serious journalists, not do that, I think.
Jenny, good to talk to you. Thank you for coming on. Jenny Bond, royal commentator. I'll tell you this, if this were Harry and Meghan and they'd put out an image of themselves with the children, all lovely, all that, Mother's Day, brilliant, everyone's smiling, and the photo agencies say, I'm sorry, we've got to get rid of this, it's so manipulated, it falls foul of our standards, there would be outcry. People would be taking to the streets with rage. But this? Nah. Will Guyot is LBC's technology correspondent. Thanks for coming on, Will. Definitely doctored, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But let's not look at this as though it's the latest photo of Bigfoot. I think it's just the example. The way I see this, Tom, it's no different to me ironing out my double chins on my Twitter photo. She's so something's happened here. So let's say William has taken the photo. It's a lovely photo of the family. William has spotted that Motley Crue tattoo just on her left wrist and has decided to Photoshop edit it out on his phone.
Careful, Will. That's tower worthy, that is.
Well, but Tom, the level of conspiracy theory around this poor woman at the moment. I've had to Google operations and all sorts of things that people are suggesting that she's had. We know that she's had abdominal surgery, and we know that she's out of action. But with a vacuum of information, with a vacuum with no information in it, people get very excited. I think the reality here, bringing it back to the technical perspective, I don't know if he's using an iPhone or an Android device, but if William has taken this photo, I think they've both looked at it and gone, could you just do this? Could you just change that? And some really rudimentary basic changes, simple bits and pieces have been done on a device. I've heard suggestions that the photo is entirely generated by artificial intelligence. I've heard suggestions that Kate's head has been superimposed on a model. I don't think any of that has happened, but I think somebody has done something on a phone. And this is where it gets important. These photo agencies are fighting a constant battle now against tweaked photos and misinformation. So that's why they've put this out, even though it's no different to me, like I said, removing my double chins or my grey hairs from my ex profile photo, but because it's been manipulated and they weren't told that by the press office, because frankly, I expect the press office at Kensington Palace or wherever weren't even told. That's what's happened here, and that's why it's suddenly become the biggest issue since the Bigfoot photos. Everybody is now convinced that there is some kind of deeper conspiracy here.
I don't think you need to edit out your double chins, Will. Come on, you be you, Queen. You be fine.
Well, I think I will, but this does open up an interesting argument in that this is on the front of every newspaper, and the reason the photo was put out, clumsily or not, was to prove all of these conspiracy theories weren't true. But what they've now done is fueled those conspiracy theories even more.
We'll appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. Will Guyett, LBC's technology correspondent. Let's speak to Ria Freeman, award-winning PR advisor and social media expert. Bit of a disaster for Kensington Palace PR, this, isn't it, Ria? Morning.
Morning. It hasn't gone the way it should have done. I mean, on the face of it, it's a lovely picture. It's showing Kate with the children on Mother's Day, and it does, as you know, everyone has said before, help to address those rumours. But because of the slight editing mishaps, it hasn't done what it's meant to have done. And then there's a lot more questions, there's a lot more noise, there's a lot more scrutiny, which I don't think was the objective at all.
How often would one expect a picture from Kensington Palace or any picture of the royals to be, I want to say manipulated, but sort of zhuzhed up, maybe?
I think a lot of imagery we see nowadays is zhuzhed up, whether it's royals or not. I mean, think about, social media platforms. You can put filters over yourself to thin bits down, make your eyelashes bigger. It's so easy now to apply filters and edits. And if you can look a bit better, a lot of people would say, well, why wouldn't you? And for people that are under that much scrutiny, why not make it the best it can be? And if the light's slightly different, it doesn't mean you're changing the fabric of the image. You're just making it look the best it can.
What do you think Kensington Palace would be best advised to do now?
Oh, it's a really challenging one. I think probably addressing the rumours head on, explaining what has happened, because it could be that the children were fidgeting. It could be, the one I've seen with Charlotte's wrist, it could be that the children were fidgeting. So I think it would be better to address it head on, because otherwise you're going to just fuel more and more speculation, which, I mean, the poor lady, she's had abdominal surgery. She wants to recover in peace. She doesn't need all of this. So that's the way I would address it. Just explain what has really happened and hopefully put it to bed there.